Thank you so much. My name is Anusha Venkatraman, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Rhode Island State Director for the Working Families Party. The Working Families Party is a grassroots political party for the multiracial working class in Rhode Island and beyond. We recruit and train candidates that will fight for working families in our state house and up and down the ballot. We help them win. I'm also here to represent Working Families Party, which organizes and mobilizes elected leaders, coalitions, and residents, such as the many folks we have here, to advocate for and legislate the change that working families actually need. I'm also here today as a mom to 2 young kids, and the issue of childcare, affordable, accessible childcare with the range of options that we need is deeply personal to me. Even in a 2-parent household such as mine, and certainly in a single-parent household, availability of childcare can prevent families from taking advantage of work or even education opportunities that can set them on a path of wage growth. Many families face the difficult choice of either staying home or sending their child to daycare and totally wiping out any of the pay that they would have gotten for that day's work. The cost is significant, sometimes even surpassing housing, especially if you have multiple children that are in childcare. And support from the state is extremely limited. The income threshold is really narrow for DHS vouchers, and there's only 1,800 pre-K seats statewide. This doesn't come close to meeting the need that we have. It's also challenging to find options that work for families and kids, including those with special or more specific needs. In my instance, my family's instance, my son was born with multiple birth defects that kept him in the hospital for the first 7 months of his life, where, by the way, he received incredible care. Once he came home, I had to stay home from work and could not return to the workforce to help care for him. My husband, a social worker, had to reduce his hours to make sure that we could provide the care that we needed for our son. And once he was stable and healthy and ready to go into daycare, we could not find a spot anywhere. I called places who, basically laughed at me for not having had him on a wait list for 8 months, for a year. And we found places that may have had a spot but didn't feel comfortable taking him with his special medical needs. We finally found a spot off of a wait list at the Genesis Center here in Providence, which, they were truly incredible in helping him and working with him. We shouldn't have to luck out and get off of a wait list by chance to find childcare in this state. And we shouldn't have to stay home from work or scrape to make ends meet to be able to afford that childcare. This is why we need adequate support. We shouldn't have to choose between work and childcare. We need publicly funded pre-K and expanded childcare options that work for families. The way we talk about publicly funded pre-K and childcare is like it's some pie-in-the-sky policy or a place that only exists in other states, some of which are nearby. But we do have the means to generate revenue in Rhode Island to adequately support families such as mine and many across the state. And we do it by making a fairer tax system that guarantees that the richest 1% of Rhode Islanders pay their fair share in taxes to fund the things that we all rely on. This year, WFP, our lawmakers, and allies are working to pass a set of policies that will generate more than $3 billion over the next 5 years. Money that we can use to fund everything from early education and childcare to public schools, to our public colleges and universities, to healthcare, to transportation, and so much more. With our Fair Share for Rhode Island package and with Affordable Rhode Island, only people who are ultra wealthy will pay more in taxes. The 99% of us will not pay a penny more. And we'll all benefit from the better schools, roads, bridges, public transportation, the things that we need to actually get to work. For years, the richest 1% of Rhode Islanders have gotten richer from tax cuts while paying less of their income in taxes than nurses, teachers, and all working people. Now is the time to make sure that they pay their fair share and generate the revenue needed to make the big investments we've been putting off. We're calling on the governor, on leadership in both houses to pass the Fair Share package and help build a Rhode Island that works for all of us in affordable Rhode Island. Thank you.